Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Is everything okay? Because I gotta tell you, uh, Jason actually departed for out of town for like the next 24, 32 hours. I don't know, something. So I have put this together all myself. I need to know that I am, in fact, getting through. And I mean, obviously, I can see the video, but the audio I tested, I did everything I needed to. So let me say hi. Gory Bits, hello. Thank you. That was so nice. Video of the dance. You're gonna be in Arizona? Heck yeah! Oh. Steven, hi. Is that Rob Nimmo? Hi, Rob. How are you doing? Whoop, whoop. Hey guys, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I really appreciate it. Super stoked to be here. Hey, David. Just saying hi to everybody as I come in. Hey, Danny, you guys. I really appreciate when you join because I just love talking to you guys. Because it's just Jason and I out here, and I'm gradually like meeting new people and trying to make friends, but it's nice to talk to some familiar faces and names. So, welcome. So as you could tell by the title, we're going to Mad Monster this weekend in Arizona. Mad Monster Party. It's going to be my first time at a Mad Monster. I'm so stoked. I cannot wait. I don't know what to expect. I'm assuming it's going to be like any other horror con, but I don't know how big, I don't know how small. I've looked at pictures. It looks like it might be kind of like Horror Hound Cincinnati, but I don't know. There's only one way to find out. But the only thing is, we will only be there on Friday because we are there for filming a whole thing on Dylan's New Nightmare. As you guys may or may not know, I got a chance to watch that fan film. Let's see. I can't remember exactly when. Maybe like a month or so ago. Maybe more than that. More than that, probably. Yeah, like a month and a half. And it was a rough cut. It didn't really have everything, but it was still pretty awesome. And Miko just crushes it. And so it's only like 4 hours from where we are. So we were like, heck yeah, let's go. And so we're going to leave early on Friday. We have a whole slew of things planned out, a schedule. The Dylan's New Nightmare premiere starts at 11, and then they have a Q&A with the cast and crew. They also have a photo op with, I believe, the cast and maybe the crew. I think it's just a photo op with maybe Dave, who plays Freddy, and Dylan. I mean, Miko. Miko, who you guys know, of course, is Dylan in New Nightmare, and he's returning for this. It's a big deal. There are a couple of other actors in it who have been in like different horror movies and such. And Dave McRae, who is a voice actor and he's done other acting as well, is playing Freddy. And they're going to be putting him in the makeup while they're there. They'll have a booth, all sorts of things. And it's a kind of a nightmare palooza in a way because Mark Patton, Jesse Walsh from Nightmare 2, and Kim Myers, Lisa from Part 2, are going to be there. I haven't seen Mark in forever. I haven't seen Lisa since Horror Hound Indie 2015, maybe? Maybe there was something after that. I can't remember, but it's been a long time. And I actually don't have them on my poster because I haven't seen Mark Patton since 2019, early 2019, before I started to do that. I don't know. I don't think he's on there. I definitely know that Kim Myers is not on there, so I'm taking it for her. Plus, how could we forget Miko Hughes is going to be there, obviously, and Robert Englund. And so, every time Robert Englund shows up, so do the Fredheads. And I'm hoping that Dylan's New Nightmare has a really, really good turnout. I really do, because I really love fan films. Like, I made a TikTok within the last week or so, week and a half. Geez, I got a lot of halves about, fan films that people might know about, but they should totally watch while we're waiting for another Nightmare on Elm Street installment. And it did pretty darn well on TikTok. And people were like, I had no idea. I'm going to check these out. Thank you for the recommendation. I watched them. I loved them. That sort of stuff, which was nice. I think fan films are growing on people, hopefully, or they like them or are willing to check them out. And, some people have this idea that fan films are this, that, and the other thing, but it's all passion. It's all for fun. So I'm really hoping that they have a nice turnout, especially with Miko returning as Dylan. I feel like every time you have somebody from the original franchise returning, it's a big deal. I mean, people have covered this in the news. Womp Stomp Films helped to make this. And, they made like Never Hike Alone and a bunch of the Friday the 13th fan films. And they had a lot of people returning them from the original franchise. And so I'm feeling like this could have that same effect. There were a lot of people interested in, watching the trailer, watching updates, has tons of views. So I'm assuming that people are excited. I heard from director Cecil that people are flying in to watch Dylan's New Nightmare, which is super duper exciting. Dylan's New Nightmare awaits. Video of the Damned, my friend. Are you going to watch Dylan's New Nightmare? I hope you are. I really hope you are. And since you guys are all here, it's really hard to tell, but I just got my hair done. It's a little different. You could see I got a little bit of a different cut and such because, and it's a little darker brownish in there. So it makes my hair look like a darker chocolate brown. And then some of it will start to wash out. And I think it will still look really, really good. I was hoping for a little bit lighter, but it's hard to pull out colors of hair. And it was a new stylist for me, and we didn't exactly know how strong to make it, but ended up working out. And so I'm resurrecting an old cosplay. Now, not many of my cosplays have brown hair, and considering this is the premiere of Dylan's New Nightmare, I think you could probably guess which cosplay I'm going to be walking around in on Friday, all day. So keep an eye out for that. Hey, Garrett! Have fun at Mad Monster. The studio looks great. I hope you guys make it out to the East Coast at some point for a con. Hope things are going well. I would love to. Garrett, let me know what cons that you're going to, and we will totally come, especially if it's something that is of interest in some way or another. If there's like a specific person there, reunion or whatever, like maybe next year if they have a huge Nightmare on Elm Street reunion, we'll prioritize going to one of those cons. Or we've actually over the past week also had a meeting, and we are going to be going to Horror Hound in Indianapolis, but for a little something different than we have been. But more to come on that kind of when we're ready to talk about it. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. Gorabit said, your hair looks great. All the cool people have dark hair. Dude, I'm telling you, I love dark hair. My grandma was once like, you would look great as a blonde. I was like, absolutely the fudge not. I love my dark hair. Rob Nemo said, Chris, the Nightmare Ends on Halloween 1 and 2 and his Tales from Elm Street series with Roberto were what turned me into fan films. Yeah, I love those. I mentioned those. Somebody else was like, oh, and don't forget The Nightmare Ends on Halloween. I was like, well, yeah, but like that's also a crossover. So I only stuck with strictly Elm Street. But yeah, then I had a follow-up video that also did pretty well. That was about those films because they rule. I love those. Those take me back to the very beginning of my fandom. I remember watching the first Nightmare Ends on Halloween, and I remember, I mean, and then the Tale from Elm Street came out, and I remember being super excited about that. And then, the different years, they'd have follow-ups and follow-ups and follow-ups to all that. And I remember being in college, sitting at a desk in the student union for the club that I was a part of, and just hanging out there behind the computer, counting down to watch the new Krueger fan films when they would drop, just being so excited, like today's the day over a fan film. I love them. They just give me the same sort of feeling as, watching any of the movies, honestly. Sometimes they excite me more than some of the movies. Joey, yo, TerraCon, Garrett said Silver Scream Con, then I'll probably hit up Monster Mania in October. We were trying to get a big YouTuber meetup possible next March at Monster Mania. Tell me more about that. Include me more on that because I would totally love to be a part of that. The YouTuber meetup to, meet all of my fellow friends and the people who are interested in the same stuff that I am and like have a chat. Which, speaking of, if you're a YouTuber, if you're a creator of some sort, I also just created a horror content creators group on Facebook that is meant for creators in the horror space of all time, all sorts, whether you're a photographer, whether you make fan films, whether you create films, whether you have a podcast, YouTube, whatever it is, to go there to, do some knowledge sharing, some network, to ask questions, to share things that you learn that you really, really like, and become a part of that, because I'm very, very passionate about that, helping people grow together. We haven't had a lot of like interactions back and forth. We've had people post their stuff, but there's not a lot of that knowledge sharing. And so I think I'm going to have to continue to facilitate it until everybody does it on their own. But if you're out there and you want to be a part of that community to learn more about becoming a creator, support creators, horror content creators on Facebook. I also am considering Garrett Silver Scream Con. I feel like that would be so fun. Especially, Ice Nine Kills putting it on. I would love to support them in any way. Gorybit said, we've had a few Elm Street related guests here in Sacramento for cons. I hope we get even more. Yeah, there's a lot of people coming to Horror Hound in Indianapolis, including Robert again. I basically followed Robert all year almost. No, I'm just kidding. So that's going to be such a good con. But given that next year is a big anniversary for the original, I'm going to assume that they're going to have more Elm Street cons. I'm really hoping, since they have, H40, that they're going to have something like that for Elm Street or Fudge. You guys, why don't we crowdfund and make it frickin' happen? Why don't we put on a Nightmare on Elm Street convention? Show of hands, show of eyes, comments, whatever. How would you like to see in a Nightmare on Elm Street convention? Wouldn't that be dope? In today's day and age, we can make it happen. George Carter said there's a Fright Night reunion in Phoenix in October as well. Dope! I love Fright Night. I love Fright Night. Did the other day and said, what's the group name? I'll join now. Once again, it's Horror Content Creators on Facebook. Gorybit said, I have to chime in more on the Facebook group. Yeah, and I don't want to like pressure anybody into talking or anything like that. Just, feel free to share around. I want to make this a really safe space. And if anybody comes in and is like, your shit sucks, yup, big old boat foot right up your ass, right out the door, Garrett said, thanks for doing that group. Got to get some collabs going soon. I'll keep you posted about the meetup. Yeah, video of the day. High five. Hey, thank you guys. Thank you. Joey said, I've never checked out a horror con, something on my bucket list. Yeah, Joey, what region of the United States do you live in? And I'm sure myself and some of our friends here can help you figure out where you should go. Because I certainly have my favorites, but a lot of them are in the Midwest. I've had the pleasure of going to Texas Frightmare. I've had the pleasure of going to, Chiller Theater. I would love to go to Monster Mania. That is a huge bucket list con for me because I feel like I've been to the Days of the Dead. I've been to Scarefest. I've been to Spooky Empire. My number one bucket list, though, is Monster Palooza. I know Son of Monster Palooza is coming up. If you guys have been to both, I would love to hear the difference between the two. Is one, much, much larger and the other one's kind of average, kind of, because I had just missed Monster Palooza because we were moving. But I know Son of Monster Palooza is coming up, and I think that would be a great convention to go to. Midsummer Scream is coming up at the end of next month, or at the end of this month, but we're kind of going to be prepping for Horror Hound. So I think we might skip Midsummer Scream, which is, it kind of pains me to say, because I feel like that's one of the cons that a lot of the other horror content creators and people that I know and talk to on Twitter and around, they all go to that. But we'll figure it out. Like I want to continue to go to cons and stuff and do things because we always have stories we want to tell or coverage that's different that we want to kind of get into and just make it more fun and interesting. And I love going to cons. I love being surrounded by fans. Fans are the reason that I go. But yeah, so I'll be at Mad Monster in a cosplay on Friday. Guess the cosplay in the comments based on the hints. Snacks and Screams came out this week. What did you guys, within the last week, what did you guys think of it? What did you think of our latest episode of Snacks and Screams? I've gotten a lot of compliments from people who are like, this is the best episode yet. This is, they just get better every time, which is something that we aim for. This one was so it was such a long time because, in the very beginning, we hadn't even packed up anything yet. The studio was one of the first things we packed up in the house and hadn't even packed anything up yet. And so I think like the next day when we were done filming, I was starting to pack up the studio. And so then we had to wait all that time. We had to, and fun fact, the house that we have the kind of runaround scene and everything blowing up, that is the house that we're in now, because everything was so hectic. When you move, you think you have so much more time, and then it's just like the little things add up, like filling in holes in the wall, making sure everything's, a little bit cleaner for the people coming, even though they'll clean it. Or you just like, there were freaking rugs that were just sitting around and we're like, oh my gosh. And then we just had this whole fiasco with moving, of like things not fitting, needing to get another, needing to drive. I mean, it was madness, and things didn't go how we planned. But we got our explosion, and then we were off. I remember sitting in front of the house being done filming, and then we're like, we're ready, let's do it. And then we were off, and we filmed along the road, and so we had to do, make time for that. And then coming here, we had to film that black and white scene, and then we had to get all of this set up to be able to film, and that took a little while because we had to unpack boxes and we had to go through the rest of the house. It was a lot. Let's see here. New Nightmare Nancy is coming back. You bet, buddy. New Nightmare Heather. I'm bringing her to Mad Monster. And I'm going to get a picture with Robert Englund. I do not have a picture of me as Nancy or Heather with Robert Englund. I have a picture of me as Regina Mills, and then a picture of me in like regular fan clothes, but not my cosplays. So this is the opportunity for it. And I'm bringing Rex. Be hobbling around that with Rex. I'm so excited. Rob said, I've been to all 6 different Monster Mania cons between 2008 and 17. I'm sorry, Rob. That sucks. Gorybit said, loved it. Your content is fantastic. That means so much to us. Displaying as New Nightmare Heather in the purple suit. Not the purple suit. It's the vest, because that's my favorite. I love that vest. That vest, it's the best of them all. That's my favorite cosplay, actually, is New Nightmare Heather. And I go for right after she gets hit by the car in the freeway, because that's like the only time when I cosplay Nancy or Heather that I get to wear makeup. Other than that, I'm just like, I've got something on my arm, and maybe I zhuzh up my eyebrows a little bit. But outside of that, there's nothing. But this one, I just get blood and bruising and blood and dirt. And it's just like dust and blood. I love that. So that's my favorite. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Danny said, love the episode. I shared it to a few friends of mine and they loved it as well. I'm so excited about that. Funny. Cosplaying. Emmy said, I loved it. The black and white sequence was incredible too. Thank you, Emmy. That means a lot. We were like, how can we like go through the motions of how hectic it is to do to like pack up and move and be frantic, because obviously we have to make the transition between here we are, now we got to leave because this vampire is after us. And we were like, old-timey sequence, do the old-timey sequence. And we were super excited how it turned out. And I just loved in that whole thing how Jason has the split screens where it's me and it's cousin Mark Ravine, Carmela Laser, whatever, sitting beside each other and interacting with each other. That is so impressive to me. I'm so proud of him for doing that. And then of course, we have just like our little cheesy like fake bat and everything. We were like, should we leave the tag on? Should we take it off? And I was like, do one without, and whichever one during editing you think is funnier, keep that one. So he kept the one with the tag. George said, I got my Robert picture reserved as soon as it became available. I'm waiting to get a picture with him forever. Sick. When are you going? Because I'm going to be there on Friday. Oh, by the way, everybody who's going to Mad Monster, please say I. Will you be there on Friday? Because first of all, if you see a girl hobbling around as Heather from New Nightmare, come say hi. Please introduce yourself. and be willing to talk because I might interview you and I'd love to. Cool. Emmy said, yes, the split screen is amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for, you guys watching this because we're always trying to make it better. We're always trying to do more. And Jason, we put in so much time between the writing and the rewriting, well, not rewriting, just making it better, edits and edits and edits. And then we get down and we film, and then we have to come up with some kind of storyline or something fun, and then having to do that whole sequence and green screening, and how long it takes to record, because I'm not just going on a whim. We have it completely scripted, and it takes a lot, because obviously I don't act like this all the time, but I wonder what would happen if I did. And it's just like so much energy at the same time. And so it can take us a while, but editing really is the hardest part. And so thank you guys for supporting our little shows. If you have recommendations about what would be better, please let us know. We just watched our next movie for Snacks and Screams, and we were watching earlier episodes, and we caught a joke that we thought was super funny that's related, and we'll probably call back to it in this. But this one it's going to be interesting how we do this. I will be writing the script tomorrow. I'm trying to finish our website today and then writing the script tomorrow and then going from there. But yeah, we're just, always looking for ways to entertain, and we want to create some kind of show that's kind of like a reaction commentary, goofy comedic kind of show that is, it's just interesting. It's different. And it has been kind of sad to see it just being like lower views. I'm being completely honest. Jason and I had a conversation about being completely honest, and it's tough because we put so much into it and we believe in it, and we're like, okay, what else can we do? There's tons of things at my fingertips I could probably pull out with, because my profession is marketing. Like, I am a marketer. I know how to amplify. I know everything about ads and SEO and social media promotion, and partnering with people to promote stuff or whatever. And it's so funny that some of the strategies that I would deploy to use in professional setting for somebody else, I often forget about myself, and I just go out on a whim. But I think that's kind of like with some of my individual, for Captain Sassy, all the stuff that we're planning to do, because we're going to have a business meeting next week to come up with the business plan and more of the strategy and everything. What, you don't have that already? No. But we had a conversation this week about planning for what we're going to do at Mad Monster, and how exactly everything relates to each other, because there are conversations about the business and our mission, vision, values, all that stuff. That sounds silly, but really, and this is where the lesson of this comes in, when you create a persona, a brand, whether if it's a business entity or yourself, you have to kind of have this idea of who you are and what you are and why you're different and what makes you unique and what you care about, because all of that helps create this, you already know what kind of content you want to create, or when you're creating content, what kind of spin you're going to have on it. Because if you just go out and you're just like blah 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 blah, then it's going to be all over the place, and you can't go in and be like, I'm going to do horror reviews, now I'm going to go play golf. Like, that doesn't make any sense, or like for me, I never did it with all the sassy sledgehammer stuff. It was just like A Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm here to talk about A Nightmare on Elm Street and Nancy Thompson and everything about that. And I'm here to make it entertaining, reach Nightmare fans, reach people who are big fans, not so big fans, maybe inspire more people, whatever it might be, to get involved. And so that was kind of like the unspoken thing. But this entity that I've created with Jason, that we're creating together, we have things that we've talked about, but we've never really put it down on paper and then stuck to it. We're like, this is it. This is what we're here for. This is what we're doing. Everything that we create has to be created through this lens. So I feel like if you're out there and you're thinking about wanting to get into some kind of content creation, yes, a niche is important. What am I about? Your audience, who am I making this for? Who are the people that I want to reach? And there's tons. You can't just be like horror fans. Okay, what kind of horror fans? Are they between the ages of 25 and 50? Are they, 25 and under? Are they 18? Do you want to reach Gen Z? Because that content's going to be different than if you're going to reach Gen X. And if it's something specific, like I'm here to educate people about horror movies rather than review movies, that's something that's different. I'm a collector. Okay, I'm a cosplayer. All right, I make cosplay videos about cosplay. I have these things that I specialize in and I care about, but I'm a cosplayer. My channel is about cosplay. But then when you start to get in things like movie reviews or whatnot, like what is it? I like to review. Somebody was commenting on one of our lives and was like, I really care about, B movie horror and fan films and like smaller films. I want to review. I want to bring spotlight to them. Terrific. That's a differentiator. And those are the things when you create that you have to think about. And often if you see somebody creating, maybe they didn't necessarily put in that thought, or maybe they did and they just don't realize it. But that kind of stuff you have to do. And a lot of these lessons I learned over the many, many years of doing stuff online. I didn't realize it at the time. I wasn't like, oh, my niche is going to be Nancy Thompson. My thing was, I love Nancy Thompson. I want to find other people who love her, and I want to inspire more people to love her and to talk about her and to find her important, whatever it is. That was it. And so I created videos and cosplay and pictures and talked about and went places to do Nancy Thompson, all that stuff. And like that was my thing. That was a thing that made me different because that was my beacon. That differentiated me from all the other people doing stuff. And I was arguably, I would say, the first person. I was out there doing all of that. And I benefited because it was the beginning of the internet. Like Facebook had just gone up and become open to the greater public. And I jumped on. And then, I had DeviantArt and Twitter that I got involved with, and Instagram down the line in like the 2010s. But I got on those message boards and it was all about Nancy. It was all about Heather Langenkamp. It was all about that. So you can kind of see what the theme was. And, there are some people out there who've been doing things for 10, 15 years, and they will have a jump over people who start today, I believe, because we started at a time when it wasn't as prevalent as today. There's a very saturated market out there, and it is harder for people to grow. But at the same, and even on TikTok, 2020, everybody with being in the house, bored in the house, and I'm in the house bored, was creating content. And I felt like it was faster for people to grow because it was kind of new. Everyone was identifying what they wanted to do. And so there was a very limited pool of people who were like, boom. And a lot of those people who have been on since like 2019, 2020 and helped during that COVID boom, they were able to skyrocket more and have been out there more than somebody who might be creating an account now. But that doesn't mean that you can't skyrocket. You just got to be able to reach your audience and create, good content that relates to the thing that you're trying to communicate. Does that make sense? Do you feel schooled? Not schooled, educated. I'm going to go look at these now. Me and my 2 children, kids of the damned, will be there Friday night. Heck yes! Is there anything I can help you with? Is there anything special that I could help make possible for your kiddies? Because I would love to, because I have been working back and forth with Cecil. If there's something that I can do to help make your and their experience more enjoyable, I would love to help. So let me know. George said, I got the RIP weekend package. Nice. Rob said, any plans to do reviews for the remaining Freddy-centric episodes of Freddy's Nightmares? Not currently, I think. Because I'm trying to I know that people love for me to talk about Nightmare. I mean, that is the thing. That's why I still do all the TikToks and everything, and I'm trying to revive Elm Street Radio, which is the podcast about A Nightmare on Elm Street and, kind of my little hub of all the Elm Street stuff and keeping it going and keeping it updated. But I know that we want to continue to kind of grow from where we are now, because I am very niched, which is great. But at the same time, I want to try and branch out a little more. And I want to see more things that I just have not seen that I've heard of. And that's what Snacks and Screams is mostly about. However, I will say we've had, there are movies out there that I've hated that I've seen once. And I was like, I would love to watch that again at some point. And I thought, what if we started doing special rewatch episodes where I've seen the movie before? So it's not a first time viewing, but it's a rewatch. And do my thoughts change? What do I think now? And put it down in Snacks and Screams. So we've got one of those coming up. There's another one that I desperately want to do that episode for, because I freaking hated that movie. And I tell people I hate it all the time. And I want to rewatch it and be like, do I still hate it so much? I want to find out and do an episode on it. Garrett said, agree, building brand is important. It is. David said, very educational. I'm glad, David. Lost at Sea said, enjoyed Elm Street Radio. Thank you. Thank you. I know Paige and I, we had a lot to talk about, and there are some people that we still want to get on that we haven't had. It's a goal of mine to get my girl Heather on there to talk to us. I would love to get Robert Englund on there, like a boom. We were going to talk to Andy Mangels, who, was behind the comics. And then we just kind of fizzled out, and we never really, we had gotten his attention, but then we didn't really go from there, but we want to get back into it. Gory Bit said, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's tough, especially when there's so much content out there to consume. There really is. And outside of Friends, the content that I mainly consume is stories and educational pieces and documentaries on YouTube that I really don't follow. I don't normally think about those things, but I have a lot, and I watch a lot of videos on content and YouTube and stuff like that. The Horror Show channel, hey, said, hey, Diandra, see you in a couple of days. If any of your fans come, they're in for a big surprise. Hey, but we have people in the chat who are coming. They're excited. I'm excited. I can barely sleep. I'm not even joking. I'm so excited. I'm going through life, and I'm like, oh, today it's fine. It's really, really hot outside, so I don't really want to do anything but stay in the house and work on stuff. And then I'm like, oh, Friday, and I'm so excited about Friday. Gorybit said that my channel is about the best of horror content. Then during the pandemic, I branched out into movie reviews again, which is something I did back in the 2000s. I really want to talk to you about this. I want to get you and Garrett on, and I want to have a big YouTuber chat. I would love to do that because I'm super passionate. I said it earlier about, talking to people and helping people and encouraging people and educating people and helping people get further, because doing this is so exciting and it's what I really, really care about. And I want to make sure that other people can too. And then us just supporting each other as a horror community. I really, really want that. George Carter said, I met Heather at Days of the Dead Vegas last year. Super nice lady. Oh, yeah, she was at Las Vegas last year. I'm a little late on that. I hope she comes back. I totally forgot that there was a Days of the Dead Las Vegas over the last couple of weeks. I was like, God, are there any horror cons around here? And then there's that one, a Days of the Dead, which will be nice. I have not been to Days of the Dead in a very long time, but I'm super happy that there's one in Vegas. How is it? Did you like it? Let me know. Garrett said, let's do a roundtable. Book it. We will. We are going to put it in the books. Gory, Garrett, let's do it. Gustavo, hey, love the Freddy Krueger memorabilia. Thanks so much. So we put on a wider angle lens for these lives so that you guys can see a little bit more of the behind the scenes rather than just kind of like this part, which we want you to normally see. Now you see the lights. There's one over there. There's sound blankets. What do I call it? I mean, I call them sound blankets, but basically they help minimize the sound in the room. There's like panels up there. That's a window that we have covered up, which sucks because I love this view. But these cover it and they're sound blankets because sometimes the road can get a little noisy. But yeah, let's see. I have just these little notes, here, which I thought might be fun because this is just a conversation. And I'm so bad with rambling and memory that I often feel like I'm going to miss stuff. So, but hopefully you guys, found something interesting in that. Thank you again for watching Snacks and Screams. And if you're coming to Mad Monster, I'll see you on Friday. And if you're not, I hope you will check out our video because Jason and I have put a lot of thought and planning into this. And we're trying to do more of that because it really, really makes a difference rather than just being like, okay, we're just going to do it. Like for certain things, that's okay. But for other things, it's really important to plan. And so we have been planning. Very excited. Very, very excited. Thank you. Gustavo said 4th of July is over. Now it's Halloween. It is Halloween. You guys, happy Halloween. 4th of July is over. Happy Halloween. Rob said, I wish I could have made some videos about my Freddy collection back before I had to sell it off. Just never had the equipment. I'll get back one day, though. Love the thrill of the hunt. You've always been really good at the hunt, Rob. I'm sorry that you had to sell your collection off. That sucks. But I've had people, say, I don't really have a lot or whatever, and that's fine. Doesn't make anybody less of a fan, but you know that because you're already such a big fan. But it would hurt. It would tear me apart inside to have to sell any of this. Gustavo said, have fun. Thank you guys for joining. I will see you around. Born and Gory, I'll talk to you soon. We will plan something, even if it starts with us and then maybe goes to somebody else. Maybe the 3 of us can start on something like that. That would be fun. But I will talk to you guys from Mad Monster. I almost said Monster Palooza. From Mad Monster, and see you around. Take care. Talk to you soon. Thanks for watching Snacks and Screams. If you haven't seen the newest episode of Snacks and Screams, take a look. Let me know what you think. We love feedback. We love comments, likes, subscribes. They help us out a lot, and they mean a lot to us. So we love you guys. Take care. Sleep tight. Don't let the Freddies bite. Bye-bye.